past week, we saw people open a Bible for the first time in a decade. We saw people pray for the first time since they were children. We saw people go to a church service for the first time in their entire lives.
Charlie Kirk's legacy is living on through his work and his faith. Turning Point USA resuming its campus tour Monday with thousands of students packing an auditorium at the University of Minnesota. That's not the only evidence we're seeing of the Kirk effect. People have been inspired by his devotion to faith and Christ and are looking for ways to develop their relationship with God. Alex Jones, the CEO of meditation and prayer app Hallow, told Outnumber that in the 7 days immediately following Kirk's death, his app saw a 95% increase in new folks coming to the app to pray. And people aren't just praying alone. One person on social media saying this, quote, "Going to church this morning, first time in probably 15 years. Thank you, Charlie." Here's what one faith-based student organization's leader had to say. Watch.
We're not out here to create one more Charlie Kirk. We are going to create millions of Charlie Kirks, and I think that's going to be the legacy.
An exciting surge, Kaylee, an absolutely inspiring and exciting surge. And we saw a little bit of it sort of in real time at the beginning of the memorial for Charlie Kirk when his pastor, Rob McCoy, invited anyone who wanted to accept Christ in their lives to stand in their living rooms at home in that huge arena. And we saw so many people standing, an incredible moment. And then he provided the scaffolding for them. He said, scan this QR code, find a Bible-based church. We are here for you. You are not alone, and you're not taking this step alone. Welcome to the Army of Christ.
Yeah, it was well said. You know, Andrew Colvett, the executive producer of the Charlie Kirk Show, he said we realized that we weren't doing campus tours, we were doing tent revivals. And that's exactly what it was. Andrew Colvett, when I spoke to him on Saturday in America, he said to me, I remember this anecdote where Charlie came in, it was late at night, it was just a few weeks ago, and he said, I have this vision. I want a chapter, a USA chapter. They're called Club Americas in every high school in America. He goes, 35,000. He just threw out the number. Andrew quickly looked on his phone. He goes, there's only 23 high schools in America, Charlie. And Charlie goes, fine, 23,000. And to think there are now 120,000 requests. These aren't just requests for young Republican groups. These are requests for something deeper, something more spiritual. And Elon Musk nailed it when he said Charlie was murdered by the dark for showing people the light. There's a lot of people in this country and around the world who saw darkness that day. And they might not know what the light is just yet, but they saw darkness and they're fleeing from it. And ultimately, I think we'll find the light.
And Molly, frankly, we sort of saw this starting to surge before Charlie's horrific death. Even he, writing on X this, there is revival in the Christian church. Churches are growing, he wrote. Young people are flocking to faith in God. And Bible sales surging this year. 10 million copies sold through August, which is an increase, guys, of 1 million Bibles over the same period last year. So it came at a time when I offer that America was thirsty, not only for Christ, but for the fellowship that Charlie Kirk inspired.
Yeah, and this may be the right time for this sort of thing. I think we're seeing some of the society tearing apart with some of the violence that we're seeing, and this may give people some peace in their own hearts, just to handle these day-to-day circumstances and maybe to turn away from the darkness if they feel themselves being pulled in. This is an opportunity. Even just going through the internet, going through your algorithm, watching whatever you're seeing on social media, you see people not only returning to religion if they've left it, but also just to living more authentically, to talking and admitting that they are religious, being able to live more open lives and to talk to one another. And when we talked about the return to campus life, my own alma mater, tonight, Virginia Tech, they're going to have an organized event. This is where in Burris Hall, I saw Ross Perot speak there in 1996.
How about that?
Exactly. And now they're going to get back into doing these sorts of things. 3,000 people expected to be back there tonight for a Turning Point USA event, the America Comeback Tour. Wow. So the kids are going to be back on the campuses. The discussions are going to keep going, and there'll also be this revival. So hopefully it all gets tied together.
And Hemmer, when you contrast this with, for example, what we spoke about in the horrific events in A Block, the thirst that young people have that feel so isolated, that are turning to the internet and terrible things that are influencing them. The prayer here and what we're seeing in real time is the influence will become Christ, and that the void within their spirits will be filled by God and the gospel, and that they will know they are not alone.
Yeah, I was impressed with the viewership. I think I saw a number 6 million people watch the service on Sunday. Another 2 million people were on YouTube. It's pretty healthy numbers for a weekend on a Sunday afternoon. Andrew was on our show earlier. I'm glad you mentioned Elon Musk. I thought, like, in the moment, that reporter who stopped him on the floor, I'm not sure which country she was from or which broadcast she was from, but he came up with a great line. He was like, Charlie talked about the light and he was killed for it by the darkness. And I was like, wow, that's brilliant. TPUSA, as of Sunday, had 60,000 new applications, colleges and high schools. As of today, that number is doubled, or up to 120,000. So they believe, if they're able to make all this happen in time, that there will be a chapter in every high school and every college in America. And I got to think that's something that Charlie's looking down on right now and is thinking, I'm really proud of that.
Yep.
Mission accomplished.
Yep.
Kennedy, I wanted to ask you, because you and I go to church together all the time, and we travel together all the time. We go to church together in a lot of different countries and here. What would be your message for these young people, or perhaps these adults that are either returning to church after an absence or going for the first time? What is your message to them being part of the community and fellowship?
Listen to that voice. Listen to that voice. There is something inside of you. There is something inside of you that is God-given, and it is always there ready to be reconnected with. And for a lot of people who question their faith, or people who they worry they have lost their faith, and they worry that there's so much uncertainty, that voice, that light is still very much there. I was talking to a friend recently. His son, who is a junior in college, was so shaken by Charlie's death. He was inconsolable. And he said, I want to start a Turning Point chapter at my college. We don't have one here. And he has started going to church, and his dad said, I want you to pump the brakes, because I worry when you get into the workforce, people will be bigoted against you and your faith, so you have to be quiet about it. I said, I'm actually on your son's side. I actually think that he should be loud about it right now. And I think that if he's feeling that, he should start a Turning Point chapter, and he should connect with people with whom he finds solace. And I really hope he does.
Yep, I hope he does too. I'll pray for that. Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.